Good evening. I call this meeting to order at 5 p.m. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Roll call. All directors are present. Moving on to approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes to the agenda tonight.
I will move the agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor of the motion to approve the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The agenda is approved. Members of the public, there are no members of the public in person, but I see we have Ms. Cheryl Roden online. Did you have a public comment at this time?
Yes. I just wanted to kick off this meeting where I know you're going to be discussing everything we've just been through in the last few weeks with a very, very sincere thank you to all the entire CSD staff for your wonderful work over the last 2 weeks to get all of our horribles cleaned up and get us back in service. And if there's anyone else in the audience tonight for the community reports from Sheriff or Fire or Public Works, and in particular Sam Shoup from Supervisor Cook's office, who really gave us a emergency central with their Facebook page and other posts. Thank you, a sincere thank you to everyone. So that's your kickoff for your meeting. Thanks.
Thank you, Cheryl. All right. So with that, we will go to community reports, and I have no community members in person.
Sam is not available tonight. He
No
texted me.
worries. I'm sure he's still very busy. No worries. All right. So we will move on to item 3, consent items. Does anyone have anything they would like to pull? All right. If not, I will motion to approve the consent items.
I will second that.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion passes. We will move, okay, so we have number 4, no matters removed. So number 5, presentations and appointments.
Thank you. Tonight we invited staff to come tonight. These are the people that made this happen over the Christmas holidays. A lot of people gave up their time with families to be out here. Up to, I think, 22 hours a day for some of them, go home and get a half-hour sleep and come right back to work. But what we wanted to do is to give you an overview of kind of the timeline what this happened. There was almost a two-stage issue with this storm that we had, the first being on Christmas and then over the New Year's. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Sean. We've got a PowerPoint to show you, and you'll get a better idea of what we were up against.
And fair warning, we didn't test this PowerPoint, so hopefully it works.
Thank you, Mr. Bartz. So as you guys are aware, we had a bit of a storm come through starting Christmas Eve, and we put together a PowerPoint, what that looked like, the implications from that, and some of the damages that we incurred. Sure. So we're going to touch on some of the, I guess, the highlight reel, if you will, and we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the minutia here into the next engineering committee. We're keeping detailed, itemized invoices for every mainline occurrence and everything. First and foremost, thank you to everybody, every one of the staff members. Field, you guys are amazing. You answer the call every time. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and this isn't possible without you. Office, thank you guys. You answered the call to be there to help. First boil notice I've ever had to issue, and we can hold our head up because we didn't issue a boil notice, we issued a couple of them. And we're going to get into why and what that looked like. So. So this is going to be a visual report of the storm event that caused all the damage to the district's water system, primarily La Mesa in Colorado. That was the epicenter. I don't know if anybody saw on Channel 7 News. The news van was even out there. Piñon Hills seemed to really take this one. The wash just couldn't handle the amount of water coming down. I've never seen anything quite like it. The district has 7 crossings, had 7 crossings across that wash with main lines. We have 2 left. Perfect, thank you. And luckily those 2 remain intact. You'll hear me kind of talk about pumping lanes. The field's hyper aware that as the damage came through, our first and foremost is triage, right? We look for the most significant damage first and we try to isolate, shut the biggest, worst problems off first. Well, that night we couldn't even get to those damaged areas. We had staff that was on dry land that became wet land, and we were almost out of a vehicle there for a minute. It seemed like the floodwaters were changing paths even that night, and it just started unfolding. Trogers, thank you guys for the access through your property. Our first mainline link came in early on Christmas Eve. We couldn't get to it. We were across the wash staring at a geyser blowing 80 feet into the air. We don't have a helicopter, so we were unable to even get to it, and without your guys' graciousness of allowing us access, we wouldn't have been able to get to that mainline leak. We used maps, timelines, drone imagery, a lot of on-the-ground photography. Again, thank you guys for that amazing photos coming in. Taken by the district staff, we were able to restore service and stabilize the infrastructure. And I do want to emphasize, stabilize, some of these are temporary repairs, right? So our goal is to get everybody back in water as quickly as possible, provide safe, potable drinking water. When these crossings are washed away, we're operating the system to this day like we kind of never have, but it's working. So our next goal will be to harden these infrastructure, these pipelines across the wash, so this doesn't happen again. We've developed some cost estimates that will put these main lines 15 foot below the riverbed, so they weather the next storm. Staff had already done some across the La Mesa wash, and those segments that we'd already completed held through the storm, no problem. This presentation is going to begin with maps showing really where the impacts occurred, a chronological timeline of events. What happened, when did it happen, and how did it happen? Throughout this, we used photo and video collages to hopefully visually capture, right? Photo's worth 1,000 words. Here's kind of the 30,000 foot overview. Where did we get hit? If you kind of look along the Sheep Creek Wash, these crossings I'm referring to, these are also pumping lanes that are critical for us to move water from one side of the district to the other. That ability was taken away from us Christmas Eve. We lost about 6 reservoirs, and it totaled about 2.6 million gallons of water within a couple hours. It was incredible the amount of damage the district sustained and how quickly. So this is kind of a colorized map. Where did the damage occur? We had a little bit of damage over on our east side. We've got plans to drop section those mains as well to hopefully eliminate or mitigate this in the future. Kind of moving on into the detail of those major incidents, kind of a closer look. We're looking at the next slide, please. Exhibit A is going to take us to the kind of where did it start? At Duncan, between La Mesa Road and Duncan Road. This area was hardest hit. This is where the news chose to bring in one of their vans. La Mesa in Colorado used to be a crossing, a dual crossing for the district. It was gone. Our guys were pulling trucks into what was left of this road, and the trucks would disappear. So that's about a 12-foot ladder rack on our truck, and you cannot see it. There was that kind of ravine that was cut out by these floodwaters. The next one is Sheep Creek at the levee break. So this is where we surmise that the levee failed, allowing those new fingers of the wash to open up. The fingers that historically don't flow, or if they flow, it's very little. Those moved a significant amount of material. This is a piece of 8-inch ductile iron that our staff cut out, and I asked them to bring up here for show and tell. For all purposes, it's steel. That damage is staring at you right now is from rock and water that pummeled it. This main normally sits about 4 foot below ground level. So at some point, the storm waters eroded the material on top of it, pummeled it for some time, and then covered it back up. Because we took out about a 60-foot section of this main, and it all looked just like this, that had been beaten to oblivion and was like a soaker hose. The next is the corridor between Calaveras and Smoke Tree Road. This was another area that got hit really hard. And our GIS kind of shows some of these new paths that floodwater decided to take that night. And Exhibit D is our drainage easement north of the Highway 138. Again, highlighting some of these ephemeral streams that don't normally see flow, that saw just tremendous amounts of flow Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and then again Thursday and Friday after Christmas. And we tried to put together a timeline. So our staff and I take as many photos as we can remember to take, and it helps us piece everything back together. Because when you're in the heat of the moment, you know, documentation's not the first thing on your mind. Shutting mains off and keeping people in water is. So luckily, we did really good, keeping a pretty good log of photos, which helped us piece together the timeline. And the gentleman that unfortunately just had to leave, Sergio, he was the only person from the district that was present every minute of every leak that occurred, starting at about 5 a.m. on Christmas Eve. We started at 7:30 a.m. getting reports of leaks and main lines coming in. About 11:15 we started getting reports of another main line leak up here at the base of the mountain near Wrightwood. And that's when we identified we couldn't even cross the wash. And the amount of flow coming down, nobody could have crossed the wash. And I hope I don't mispronounce your name. The Trogers were kind enough to allow us access through their property to get to where staff needed to go to repair these main lines. Otherwise, we'd have had to let it run. But that's when we started noticing that we knew we had a significant problem. It was more than one main line, and we had tanks dropping. We began identifying and isolating. About 5 p.m. that evening, we started realizing we were in a really bad way, and we had multiple main lines. We didn't know how many, and it turns out there was 11 shear breaks. A shear break is when two sections of pipe physically disconnect. So you actually don't have 11, you have 22, because you have leaks coming in both sides, right? It's pipe running wide open. On top of that, we had mains that were pummeled by rock. We had crown breaks from AC being displaced. Asbestos concrete pipe, when you undermine it, likes to crown break, just a nice clean lateral crack on top. So about 5 p.m., I contacted Dawn. We knew we were in a bad way. We were losing 6 tanks simultaneously. We could preemptively see that with our SCADA system. We knew a boil notice was coming. About 7 p.m., we could no longer guarantee positive pressure in the system. We hit dead pool in the tanks. That's when the decision was made per our EMP to go ahead and issue that boil notice to the community. We could not guarantee water quality any longer. Late into that night, guys, I don't really remember how late we worked. It seemed like midnight, 1. We were trying to isolate and identify areas and pockets. Please. Okay. And we have some photos. This is at our crossing at Trinity Road. This is arguably our most important crossing we lost. What Trinity allows us to do is move water from one pumping lane to the other. Kind of a shortcut, if you will. That's gone. There's none of it left. This is one piece of critical infrastructure we have to get through summer. This is at Phelan Road in Awash. Our pipe that's up on top of the bridge got pummeled by rock as well, created a couple leaks on that. And that's a view of what we were seeing. We saw storm surges coming down, and it was coming down in like pulses. This is the one, again, and I can't thank you all enough for allowing us access. This is the one up we couldn't access without some help from private property owners allowing us to cut through because our only means of accessing it were cut off. This is probably the area that got hit the worst. This is Colorado and La Mesa. And we'll get into what these poor residents endured for 3 or 4 days. That was about ground zero, or the epicenter. This is just a shot from, we knew we had a problem sometime around noon, of Phelan Road. That's Phelan Road in the wash. We started running out of drain capacity there, and that's our main catching those storm surges coming in. Just some more photos of the volume of water in the storm surges. We've heard different estimates. Seems to kind of go with about 15 inches. But there was snow standing up in the mountains, and this was a really warm rain. So compounding the issue, the warm rain to the snow, we had snow melt with a tremendous amount of rain very quickly on top of some burn areas. And we were up today looking at some more of our infrastructure, the amount of debris that came down. So it wasn't a mudslide in a traditional sense, but it carried so much of the volume of material that came down was just incredible. This is at Duncan Road in the wash. Some of what these poor residents endured is amazing. This is at the Aqueduct in Oasis Road. Christmas Eve night, you could have walked across the aqueduct at Oasis Road, not got your knees wet. There was a sandbar. DWR got in there with their equipment, cleaned it out since, and this wasn't the only portion. There was portions in Hesperia that failed, and they lost concrete panels as well. So it wasn't just our area. Other areas were impacted pretty heavily too. But this is some of the images that we saw that night. That takes us kind of on into Christmas Day. We were out here, our staff giving up their Christmas Day, coming in 10 a.m. We took a couple hours in the morning to be with our families and spent the rest of the day and night here assessing and continuing to isolate that damage. We realized really early on we were going to need a bottled water and lots of it. Dawn began the process of acquiring that bottled water. And I don't recall how many pallets, upwards of 40 pallets of bottled water went out.
Yeah, I think we exceeded 40 pallets of bottled water between the district and the county, probably closer to 50.
And staff began repairing water mains such as Marco, Colorado, Smoke Tree. And we began to fill tanks from those non-damaged main lines, switching over pumping lanes, trying to find mains that weren't damaged that we could establish pumping to try to fill the tanks. We tried to acquire materials for high lines. The people over there at Colorado and La Mesa, there was 150 plus homes that didn't have water for Christmas. We don't keep miles and miles of fire hydrant hose readily available. We just don't need it. The day after Christmas, we were able to acquire another 800 feet and high-lined from portions of the system over, and with valves that these guys installed on Christmas Day, started to restore water service to people. With fire hydrant hose, and I think Channel 7 caught a glimpse of it. What a high line is we take from a hydrant from an area that still has water and jump it to an area that does not. So basically they become little islands connected with hose. And that's why that boil notice becomes so critical. That's a safeguard for public health and safety to let residents know, hey, this is an extreme operation. You have water that's not potable, but some water is better than no water. And again, on the 26th, we began cutting in. I think we cut in, Chris, was it 8 or 9 valves? 8 valves just to get water back to people, right? That is the name of the game we play. Try to get water to everybody as quickly as possible. And then we started getting photos of the aftermath before the next round started hitting us. And these are just some of the images we captured out in the field of the impacted areas. And you can see this one, I think, does a really good job from the drone capturing how much mud and debris came down from the mountain. You can see that that's nice clayish mud. That loves to stick to stuff. These guys spent 8 days, cold and wet, giving up their Christmas Eve, their New Year's Day, constantly out in that. And again, I cannot reiterate enough how grateful I am, the district is, for your guys' efforts, office as well, just pulling together as a team and getting through the worst damage I've ever seen. And you can see some of the banks that have given way. This is a shot of Duncan Road at the wash, so folks ask when we're out in the public, when's it going to be open? We're not county roads. That's about 8 foot, 9 foot taller than it used to be. Again, just the amount of material. Tens of thousands of cubic yards, if not into hundreds of thousands of cubic yards. Notice the absence of banks. It becomes an alluvial fan. It's no longer confined.
Something interesting about the picture that you're seeing right there. In a lot of the years, not just this one, but watching staff finding the valves, locating these valve cams and the valves that are buried under 3 feet of mud, sticky mud. And to be able to do the shutdowns that they did to keep the water in the tanks and keep it from flowing more into the washes is amazing that they can even find those.
These are just some more photos of the damages. Bottom left is Colorado and La Mesa. The top left, wintergreen. So not everywhere did we just sustain damage. Some areas didn't even blow out, but exposed, some cases hundreds, some cases thousands of feet of our main line. Also not good. Those are potential weak spots, vulnerabilities and liabilities. So, and we probably have months of bringing in, again, tens of thousands of cubic yards of material and covering some of these. The county came in, I believe the 27th, and started patching there at the Aqueduct and Oasis Road. That's that picture on the right. And this is the one no one wants to see. That top left picture of our SCADA system as the tanks were dying. That's like the heartbeat of the district, and it stops beating. When those go to dead pool, that's when we have to issue boil notices. We can no longer guarantee positive pressure in the system. Some of our staff, top right, fixing mainline leaks, bottom right, what those look like. So not everyone's a shear break. Those crown leaks we're talking about, this is what happens when you lose adequate compaction under main lines. It likes to crack. And then bottom left, I don't even remember where that one's from. That's out in the wash somewhere. Just the absence of pipe. And this poor neighborhood. This is Olivera Road, cross of Colorado, and they got it the worst. There's so many homes flooded, filled with mud. The one that this picture started on, that poor family had about 4 foot of mud in their living room. Came right in the front door, came right in the front window. Even accessing some of these areas. So this is all a new floodplain. It's mud. We're not in really awesome 4x4s. We're in work trucks that have 4-wheel drive. And most of us at one point or another, and there's only 1 or 2 that didn't get stuck, but again, good job, guys. We all get each other out. We're there for one another like an amazing team, and you guys are a well-oiled machine. Dawn, thank you for bringing that up. Also, when floods come in like this, they bring feet of debris. Our valves used to be at ground level. They stopped being at ground level, now they're 4 foot below ground, or sometimes 6 foot, and we're digging all the way to the main by hand in a hurry to try to get water onto people. And you can see the customer sides, the service lines. So it's not just mains when these floods happen. They wipe out our service lines. They wipe out telephone, electrical. One thing to note on this, these people all still had power. It's 12 kV lines running through here that we also have to safely navigate, because water and power don't play well together. So we have to bear in mind for our safety, how can we backfill enough to start thinking about putting main line while there's a live 12 kV that used to be in conduit, there's no conduit anymore, that's a sheath away from hurting somebody. And this is the worst of, at Colorado and La Mesa, areas 10, 15 feet deep. And this is where my plug for San Bernardino County Callaway is going to come. I got a call the day after Christmas. First responders, fire and police couldn't get to a lot of homes. The incident commander called me, what do we need to get the first responders to these homes? And then what do you need to get water to these homes? I need 4 D8s and about 10,000 cubic yards of material. And the next day, that Sunday, we had 4 D8 dozers out pushing material at La Mesa in Colorado for us to be able to crib under our piping to think about repairs starting in those areas. Without them, we would not have been able to get nearly as quickly or as efficiently water to these homes that were affected. On the 26th, that high line was established, getting that 150 or so people back in water. On the 27th, we still had about 36 homes didn't have water to them. We kept cutting in valves on the 27th, and Stephen began door-to-door water delivery service. Thank you for that. And again, we just started backfilling, shoving dirt everywhere we could under our mains to try to get everybody back into water. On the 28th, we did finish cutting in all of those valves and repairing all of those services. I know it seemed like a never-ending task, and it was Groundhog's Day. And we restored water service to all but 6 on Colorado Road on the 28th. A couple guys that have never even run equipment were installing up to 300 foot of main line on a road that day on their own initiative. That's the kind of crews we have. And the gentleman that did that just had to leave. He's checking on another leak as we speak. The level of dedication from our staff is unparalleled. Never have I had somebody tell me I can't come in or just not answer the phone. And I'd really like to highlight that. On the 29th, we completed the repairs at Wintergreen in Colorado. Sorry, did I jump? Nope.
Sorry, this is the wrong one. We'll go to the next one.
Okay. And the office staff was there with us every step of the way, giving live updates to the public. The goal is being as transparent as possible. I know as a resident, I would love to see live updates. Where are they? What are they working on? And is progress being made? Live updates were occurring to our website to try to give the public a real-time snapshot of where we were and what was getting done to restore their water service. On the 29th, those repairs on Colorado and Wintergreen were completed with a bunch of new valves cut in to restore water service to all of our customers by virtue of mainline. So it took us 5 days of working 18-hour plus days to get water to everybody. We even brought in 2 contracting crews to help. The level of damage was that significant. On the 30th, the repairs at Del Rosa and La Mesa were conducted. And then on the 30th, Eric, thank you, began flushing and sampling to start to think about removing those boil notices. Title 22 stipulates to lift that boil notice, only State of California Water Resource Control Board sanitary engineer has that authority. I do not. 2 consecutive sampling events have to occur 24 hours apart. So we sample one day, and the next day we sample, and then hopefully everything's good, and that 3rd day you're allowed to lift it. And I'd like to also thank Water Resource Control Board, District 13, David Devani, our sanitary engineer, for working with us amazingly the entire time. He was also sacrificing his holidays, taking our calls, having templates, just being there for us every step of the way. And I'd like to thank him for his dedication and assistance through that as well. Then came some more great news. on the 31st, we had another main line break up at Snowline. Somebody did some grading that diverted some water flows away from a normal storm path that funnels that right into our water main instead of the 50-foot gorge about 20 feet away. We have an intertie with Sheep Creek that had never been tested before. This segment of main feeds about 450 residents, and it would be a sole feed. And that's just the way the system is. That night, we activated that tie-in with Sheep Creek's okaying it as well, and I'd like to thank them for their participation and help throughout as well. And that intertie worked amazingly, keeping about 425 out of those 450 residents in water. But again, because we went negative pressure, Title 22 stipulates we had to issue a boil notice. And that's where our second one was derived, because we did go negative pressure in one of those mains. So on the 31st, bottled water deliveries continue. And on the 31st, I don't recall what time, at some time, that boil notice, I believe, anybody remember, guys, 8, 9-ish? Something like that, around there. That second boil notice hit, impacting about 95% of the district. We're the east side, where originally it was the west side. And just some pictures of our amazing staff and their dedication and devotion.
Sorry, just bear with me for a second. I think I don't have that slide. Sorry for those ones. They're inside.
So most everybody in this room was involved in offloading those 40 some odd pallets of water by hand. One thing we realized that we didn't build into the new building was a roll-up door to accept pallet deliveries. Guess what we're thinking about adding in? Said roll-up door.
Perfect timing.
Because offloading 40 pallets by hand is not necessarily the funnest thing in the world to do.
Each pallet was 2,500 pounds. Yeah, it's,
You have none of these photos?
They're in the packet.
Okay.
They're really good. For those that can't see them.
I know. Our board president even pitching in to offload some of those. Thank you. Let me catch up. Okay, which brings us up to January 1st, New Year's Day. Happy New Year's. We had another main line at Smoke Tree in Nevada. Same, water undermines the main lets go. So those repairs were initiated and completed. Concurrently, while flushing and sampling was initiated for that second boil notice, which brings us into January 2nd, our second round of sampling per Title 22 to lift that boil notice was conducted, bringing us to the third, where things finally started to calm down, where we were able to lift all boil notices for the whole district. We could guarantee water quality. All bacteriological samples came back absent for E. coli, absent for coliform. Is that all the photos?
Let's see if this works.
Okay. And just some more kind of a highlight reel pictures. That's what a main line looks in a wash that's actively flowing. And again, these guys are getting into washes that, you know, are past your ankles. That's not fun. Working in flowing water. I'd never done that before. And it turns out a mini excavator blade's a really awesome cofferdam. We learned how to build dams to block ourselves from floodwaters. Top left is just what AC pipe looks like when it gets significantly undermined. Another one of our jewels. That's what a crown break looks like. Again, just when we stop having dirt under those mains and water's very heavy, it's 8.34 pounds per gallon, and that weight bears down on that pipe and cracks it. Throughout the event, district management maintained continuous communication. Don and I felt like we were married at the hip there for a week and a half. Felt like we talked to each other more than we ever should have. With our field crews, thank you all, again, answering the phone, always giving us a heads up, the communication. There's not a whole lot I would have changed about our response. Maybe where we get to eat a little bit more would have been nice. And again, I cannot thank you guys enough. You are amazing. Customer service, likewise. That communication, we are so appreciative because it's that teamwork that really makes these, successful. And our support staff, George, thank you guys being there when we need you, sending me as-built, maps, whatever we needed. Monitoring system conditions, tracking outages, prioritizing repairs, coordinating bottled water distribution. I think we cleaned Southern California out of bottled water. And securing those needed materials and supplies. And shout out to CW Wells, especially Ken Pertit, for opening up the day after Christmas with no unlock fee, getting us the materials we needed to keep us working the entire time that this was happening. This was made possible by our extraordinary efforts of the district employees, and that's each and every one of us in this room. Operations, customer service, administration, field services, who worked extended hours under dangerous and rapidly changing conditions to protect public health and restore service. And ultimately, we're public servants, and I think you all did an exceptional job serving the public that we're here each and every day for. The board and district leadership, thank you guys. Extending sincere appreciation to every staff member who contributed to this emergency. I think I spoke with a few of you on the phone, and I know I could be rather short because we have emergencies. So when I say I gotta go, I gotta go. And we're happy to answer any questions. I know we covered a lot of material really quickly. Happy to answer anybody's questions.
Yeah, the board should be able to, the board should be able to follow some of the timelines on your phones, because I think I blew up your phones with text messages the entire time Sean was relaying information about what was going on. We learned a lot during this process, but it wouldn't have been possible without the staff to get through this catastrophe and get people back in water. They put out an extraordinary effort to get these people back into water. Even the boil water notices, they still have water and they can, we did a lot of explaining, and everybody, I think everybody was understanding. I don't think we had really one irate customer that didn't come back and apologize throughout this entire process.
And with that being said, I'm going to call each and everybody up individually. I'd like to thank you for your dedication to the district, your commitment to service. We have a gift card for you. We miss so many meals with our families, and as a token of appreciation, the district has gotten us gift cards to Texas Roadhouse, as well as certificates of appreciation to recognize your efforts and your hard work. First one, Chris Cummings. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you answering the phone. Mike Lewis. And for those that don't know, Mike and I have worked together 21 years. Something like that, and we can still tolerate each other, so thank you. Thank you for answering the phone. Ernesto. Thank you, Ernesto. Appreciate everything. This individual just went out to check another possible mainline leak. Extra recognition, he's the only district employee to see every single mainline leak that had occurred. Sergio Madrigal. Michael Marcus. Thank you, Michael. I believe this next employee, I think you scored second highest, right under Sergio. I think you missed made all but one leak possible. So, Andres, thank you. This next employee, same. You were there for just about every single one, including letting me miss the one on New Year's morning. Thank you, Chris Qualco. Thank you for answering the phone. This next employee, same. You were there for, I think, all but one of the main lines. Mr. Eric Barnes. This next employee was our courier of bottled water and was there, I believe, the day after Christmas through the very end. Thank you, Mr. Stephen Trujillo. Thank you. And I know this next person carried more than their fair share of bottled water, and I don't think he's here. Matthew?
He's not
Okay, we'll give that one to him. Big shout out to Heather and her team for everything. Miss Heather Childers. Thank you, Heather. Amy Williams. Thank you, Amy. I'm not going to pronounce your last name, so I will mess it up. Angelica. Thank you, Angelica. Evelyn, thank you. Karen? Yep, Karen. Karen, thank you for everything, especially releasing the oil notices. Thank you. And then myself. Thank you, guys.
Don, would it be okay if I add?
Absolutely.
Many of you guys, I mean, you guys all know what this guy's done, but I don't think you guys know it from our perspective. Not only is he managing all these crises going on, he's in up to his neck in mud with all of us. There was a night, he was so wet, so cold. We're trying to look at the iPad, and he's shaking because he's so cold. He was in the trenches the whole time with us. He's not just managing, but he's in the mud. And there's not very many operations managers that would literally do what he's done. And I want you guys to know that, you know, at least for me, he's gone way above and beyond the call of duty. And it's much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you, Sean.
John, you pulled a fast one. You pulled yours and George's. So we also had those same certificates. George, you were out there helping us, bringing us pizza, but now we know never pizza. George, thank you. Don, we talked more on the phone than I hope we have to in the next 2 months. But thank you for always answering my calls. Board members, same. You know, when I call, you guys always answer, and I try to always answer for you. I know there's times it can be a little short and rushed. That's because we are trying to manage these crises. But as a team, I'd like to thank everybody in this room. I think we came together. Worst damage I know Don's ever seen, I know I've ever seen. Thank you basically all around. I think overall, you know, is there room for improvement? Of course there is. And we learn and we grow for the next time. But thank everybody. You all did amazing.
Well, again, I would just like to say thank you to the board for supporting staff, and to the staff for the work you did in the field and the office fielding calls, delivering water, passing out water. Trokers, thank you again. Every time we have an emergency in that Sheep Creek Wash floods up there, they open the gates and let not only us, but all of the residents in that area through their property. A beautiful property up there if you've never been up there, but they do open it up so we can get to our facilities. Without that, it would have been much worse. There's no way we could have it would have been a day or two to get even across that wash. So, but thank you everybody from the bottom of my heart. It was a great experience to work with you guys, and you did a great job.
Thank you.
I want to comment as a soldier of the U.S. Army veteran. You guys did time like we did in the service. They give us very limited hours. You guys actually had even less hours than they're required to give us of sleep. I'm very, very impressed. Thank you. And I think Sean's new nickname should be General. Thank you. Thank you all. Oh, copy. Yeah, you guys did amazing. At a crunch time, you ran towards the problem when most would run the other direction. Thank you. I know the public is very grateful for the services you guys do. Thank you.
Thank you.
I also would like to say thank you. I know what it's like out there, and it's awesome that you guys were out there and took care of business like that and got to work as a team, and that shows. It'll help you build teamwork throughout the organization, and I just applaud you guys for what you did over the last 2 weeks. Awesome job.
That's right. Thank you guys for staying this evening. I know you guys all want to get home, but we appreciate the opportunity to actually, see some of your faces and just give you thanks for everything that you did. It's just a small token, but we really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Coming from the same industry as you, I know the challenges that you face out there. This storm was greater than a 100-year storm. Reports of the rain that were coming through Mount Baldy, Lytle Creek, and Wrightwood area was 17 inches. We were watching our storm radar at work, and it was just red cell after red cell. The staff in the office kept refreshing because they thought it was stuck, and it wasn't. So all that storm foam that came down through Sheep Creek and washed us out, yeah, it was horrific. But I truly appreciate everybody that was out there, the staff that supported the field staff that were out there, cold, tiring, handling metal tools in the rain, cold. It seems like it's you're in the Antarctica by the time you're drenched. So I understand the challenge, and it's greatly appreciated. And thank you to Dawn for sending out all the updates and different things, and knowing where we were at with water quality and the boil order notices and everything. And that's why we have those regulations in place to help protect public safety. And they put that in as a provision just in case something happens. But the sampling checked out good, so I'm grateful for that. But thank you to staff.
And if you guys would like to go, you're more than welcome to. Nobody's going to think you're bailing if you don't sit here for the rest of the meeting. You're more than welcome to. But go spend some time with your families. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we're going to move on with agenda item 6A, discussion and possible adoption of resolution 2026-03, establishing a one-time extraordinary circumstances bonus.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and take this. And we spoke to Rebecca about this, and one of the things that is understood with being executive staff is that you don't get overtime. There's a lot of people out here. I think in 1 week we had some exempt members who put in 72 hours of overtime on top of their normal time that they wouldn't be compensated for. And so the discussion did occur with that on should there be something done with that. One of the discussions came through legal counsel and with CPSHR on how to address a situation like that. I'm not going to read through the entire memo, but this does authorize it. It would be a one-time extraordinary bonus to compensate exempt employees for hours worked on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Day, and hours worked beyond the normal schedules between December 22nd and January 24th, paid at 1.5 times the base pay. So it's basically like overtime. And I'm trying to think of back how this entire thing started, and I believe I probably sent a picture to the board at the very beginning of all of this, and I think Sean was up to his neck in water in a leak in the middle of one of the roads. I think it was you in that picture. There's so many that went back and forth. But we are bringing this to the board tonight for consideration, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any questions.
Okay, questions? No? Over here? No? All All right. Well, after that presentation, how could you? So, with that, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt the extraordinary circumstances payment. My screen went blank, so.
Sorry, 2026-03,
20, yeah.
one-time extraordinary circumstance bonus.
Thank you, Rebecca.
You're welcome.
And I will second that.
All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, motion passes. Excellent.
Thank you.
Gotta love
I
technology.
can tear the sheets off and hand them to you if you need.
All right, moving on to item 6B, discussion and possible award of professional services agreement for classification and compensation study.
Thank you. We have not had a comprehensive classification and compensation survey done in a number of years. And when we were reviewing this with CPSHR, CPSHR, who is our human resources department now, which is subbed out, they made the recommendations that we have our job descriptions looked at. The job descriptions that we have for basically all of the employees have been piecemealed together, stolen from other districts, some of them probably have not changed a whole lot in 18 years almost 18 years since the district has been formed. And actually some of the terminology and the resources that were listed back in those days do not even exist anymore. Times have changed. They did suggest that and I concur that we do need to have the classifications looked at. But before we can do the classifications and the compensation, we need to have something solid for comparisons, and that's where the job description reviews come in. CPSHR has put in a proposal. The proposal for the entire thing is $53,920. It's an extensive process, and it will take months to complete. They recently, I believe as of about a week and a half ago, just completed a review with each one of the district employees. We wanted to find out what we can do better. What are your concerns? What are the strengths, weaknesses, kind of a 360 view of the operations of the district. And I think this is something that will be beneficial. We may not like everything that it says sometimes, but it is an opportunity for growth. And as part of that, this is what transpired was looking at these reviews. And I want to say and thank staff, we had 100% participation from the staff for this process. It was voluntary, but every one of them participated and gave their input. And that is how we grow as a team, is to know our strengths and weaknesses. So the next step with that would be to make sure that the job descriptions are accurate. And then from there, we can move forward with the compensation, which is going to be required a decision of the board for the CalPERS, what we talked about a month ago. It seems like months now, but very recently. So with that, I'd present that to the board and ask for the board to review that and determine if they would like to proceed with this class and compensation study.
Well, first of all, I guess it's a staff night tonight because I'd like to give kudos to staff for 100% participation in this, because I can tell you that I'm currently going through a classification and compensation study at my work, and we maybe had a 30% participation. So that right there is huge. I went through the entire proposal, and it is basically word for word on what we're doing as well. So I really like the way that they put this together, the order that they're going to do it, the job descriptions, what they do, their classification, and then the compensation after that's complete. So really impressed.
Yes, thank you.
Any questions? No? Over here? No? Okay. All right. So with that, I will motion to award a professional services agreement for the classification and compensation study.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much. Motion passes.
And with that, I am going to need to skip out. I'm going to turn the meeting over to George to handle the next items. And thank you very much. I know the staff tonight appreciated being heard and seen by the board for what they've done. I mean, I don't think we can thank you enough. It was learning experience. We got some things to do coming up with engineering committee for looking at future improvements we need to do. But I think we're headed in the right direction, getting the district back to good operating condition. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item 6C, discussion and possible adoption of Resolution 2026-01, establishing a conflict of interest code. Mr. Cardenas.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to hand this over to Jennifer to kind of lead us into the memorandum.
Thank you, Mr. Cardenas. This is just, we're bringing back our conflict of interest code, which we review periodically. There were some updates that were required of the appendix. This is tied to our Form 700. And so because of the position changes and the staff changes we've had, that did need to be updated. So we're just bringing that forward for approval.
Okay. Any questions? No? Okay. So would someone like to motion?
I will move adoption of resolution number 2026-01.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. Moving on to 6D, discussion and possible adoption of Resolution 2026-02, establishing policies for board conduct amongst directors and with staff. Mr. General Manager,
Excuse me.
Assistant General Manager.
Well, this item I think is better handled through Jennifer. So I'll have Jennifer.
Okay, I'm
take
just going to
lead on
go with
this.
Jennifer every time then.
Thank you
Just
again.
just giving you a hard time.
So this also is a policy that we review from time to time. This is our staff and board conduct, as mentioned in the memo. The only change that we are recommending to the board is there is a reference to the administrative services manager, which is a position that is no longer part of the district. So we do recommend updating that language, and that will trigger a new resolution number.
Okay. Questions, comments? A motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 2026-02, establishing policies for board conduct amongst directors and with staff.
Thank you. I will second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. 6E, review and possible reaffirmation of Resolution 2021-02, establishing policies for board member sexual harassment prevention training.
As much as I would love to steal the lightning from Jennifer, I'm going to hand this over to Ms. Oaks. Or Thunder.
Okay, this also is another policy that we bring forward from time to time. We have reviewed it. We do recommend just a slight change. It does reference that that the requirement for the training be in person, which is no longer the case. And so we do recommend updating the language, but it's at the recommendation of the board.
Okay. Questions, comments? Rapid fire.
I will motion for the reaffirmation of resolution with the advised changes for 2021-02. Oh, 03. 02.
02.
02.
I'll second.
I'm just reading her notes. It was different than all of them. Do you want me to say all this stuff? If there is any direction the board would like to give at this time, if no proposed changes, we're all good? Okay, I just want to make sure, try and lighten the mood a little bit here.
Can I just add real quick that I will be sending out notifications because some of you are due for the sexual harassment training as along with the ethics training. So I will be sending those out individually to you to let you know.
Perfect, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
See, we wouldn't be able to do anything without you guys, so never. All right, so did I have a motion and a second? Thank you so much. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, motion passes. All right, where am I? 6F. Oh, see, that's what I was doing. I got it. Discussion of possible action regarding committee responsibilities and meeting times. Okay,
I'll take this item.
would you like to take
Jennifer?
this one?
Thank you. In December, the board completed the assignments on the committees. It was requested by the president of the board, bring this item back for a meeting schedule to further review in order to finalize meeting times and related committee responsibilities and details. With that, I'll leave it to the president.
Perfect. Okay, so I know for myself, moving to legislative, it's second Tuesday, March, June, September, and December, but I can't do 3 o'clock, so I would propose that we would move that to 4:30.
I can adjust to whatever's needed for us.
Perfect. And what was my other one? Finance. Oh, and then I'm on finance now with Chuck, and I, again, would need to move that to 4:30 if that's okay with you. Perfect. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. All right, any other conflicts or changes for anybody else's committees? Good. Okay, so do we need a motion to change that as well, or is that just?
Yeah, I think that's just assigned times.
Okay.
Correct me, please, Wes, if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Or don't.
Wes, are you there? Wes, are you there?
He might not have it at the volume up now. Wes, are you there? We'll try it with different voices.
I mean, I could just do it overkill, and then that way
Yeah,
we've done it.
let's
If
just
we
do
don't
it.
need
Just
it,
be
we don't
careful
need
about
it.
that.
All right. I will motion the changes to the committee times.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Perfect. Motion passes whether we need it or not. All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. All right. Item 6G, review and discussion regarding the proposed 26-27 budget schedule.
So we'll take that item. I have Mr. Nolan, our finance supervisor, here to answer any questions on the time schedule. So every year we present the timeline process for budgeting along with summaries of the budget process. And it's published on the district website and press releases issued in order to encourage public participation. Attached here is the schedule. Update. Mr. Nolan's here to answer any questions, but if we're good with what we have here presented, can adopt the schedule and move forward.
Okay, I'm going to be annoying again, so, sorry. So, February 17th is a Tuesday?
That's correct.
Okay, so can we do 4:30 instead of 4?
17 sounds 5. Mine.
Where, right here?
Right here.
Right here. Is it above or below?
The,
I'm looking at this one. Did that one get, I printed this.
This is in the agenda.
Okay. Okay, so I'm good with that one then.
Up here.
Tuesday.
April 7th.
It's on here. Oh, thank you. Maybe I printed it too soon. I don't know. Let me see. Okay, so
Rebecca,
May.
were you referring to April 7th, the 4 o'clock finance meeting? 'Cause you were-
Oh,
you
that
wanted-
could,
You can't do 4 o'clock, so you want 4:30 for that?
that could have been it.
That could be going to-
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah,
one
yeah,
on May
yeah.
5th as
April
well.
7th. right?
May 5th is
Special
the same.
Finance Committee meeting, yeah.
May
Can we,
7th.
can we make that 4:30?
And the one on May 5th is the same time
Bless you.
for,
Yeah, and then May 5th.
Yes.
Okay, and then it looks like my other question was already fixed, so we're good. Perfect. Anybody else want to whine and complain like me? All right, so then we should be good. Okay, so with that, would someone like to make a motion?
I motion to approve the calendar for the budget process.
Okay,
I'll second.
thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, motion passes. Perfect. All right, H, update on district projects.
I'm going to leave this for Jen. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'll take that item. Well, let's start with the Civic Center project. It was January 7th last week when there was activity on our site. So they've begun with the demolition and grubbing for the site. And they began watering the site on Monday. I don't want to get ahead of the schedule, but just to get a couple of weeks of view of where we're at, we're going to install the BMPs for stormwater and initiate that here soon after the dewatering or the watering of the site, as well as fencing off the Joshua Tree protection area and prep it for site grading. There is some additional revisions, or let's just say additional earth that's needed to build the site based on the fencing off of the Joshua trees, as well as additional earth and shrinkage. We're going through the redesign, let's not say redesign, but revision of the grading plan, pretty much to deepen the take on the 14-acre to build the site. We're working on that currently, and then we'll see some activity next week as far as the equipment doing the grading on the 14-acre to bring it onto the 5-acre site to build at the pad. That's going to be a week of work of a lot of earth moving. District staff will be installing the approximately 800 feet of pipeline that was included in the bid for the contractor. It was an option for the district to remove that as a bid item, which was entertained, and that's going to be done in-house. That work will begin on January 26th. Sean and his staff, they said they'll knock it out in 2 days. This water is what we do. If there's a cost saving to the district, we'll take full advantage of that. So that'll begin on the 26th. So tentatively, that's where we're scheduled with that. We are working through the application for the ITP. We have the senior biologist from the state reviewing the application specifically for the retention basin on this phase of this project. We have about 7 Joshua trees that are going to be looked at for the take for this project versus having to address the full 14-acre site. It was recommended that we just address those so we get an immediate response to addressing the grading for the retention. We did meet with the school district last week to discuss traffic flow, since there's going to be some grading done next week on the south side of the school entrance, the elementary school. Coordination with the construction management team, CPM, with Chase Cooper, and communication with Spec, the contractor. There is a plan to kind of move forward with the grading, allowing traffic from Phelan Road down the corridor on the east side of the school and a flow through the rear, and vice versa for vehicle traffic. We are working with the contractor to have that continual traffic from Sheep Creek Road to the backside. So we worked out a plan. Doesn't change much of what the traffic looks now, just it's going to be fenced off to the south. With that, I have nothing more to report on the Civic Center project. If you have any questions, I could probably answer some of it without getting into the schedule deeply, because it's pretty extensive. We're still looking at a 12 to 14 month completion date on this. It's looking like we're still on schedule for 14 months. So we're looking good. Very confident with the contractor and especially the help with CPM, the construction management team, on getting things expedited and done.
Good. Thank you. Any questions?
Can we get a 2-week look-ahead schedule in the board packages every month?
Yeah, and actually, I was wanting to include the draft schedule in the packet for the full project.
Yeah, I don't know if we need
kind
the
of
full
missed-
schedule, but just a condensed version.
Yeah, we can do that, yeah. And with the verbal, I can also provide you with the,
Thank you.
with the written one. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, perfect. Moving on to committee reports. Engineering. We didn't meet one more time, right?
Yeah, we didn't meet.
Okay, finance?
I believe the last time we met was November 18th or something?
Yeah, I figure. Legislative?
We meet in March, and we have a trip in February to DC for some mass.
Nice. Okay. Park and Rec? We met in November, last time before Christmas, yep. And then waste and recycling.
Yeah, we haven't met.
Next week. Meet next week.
Okay. Staff and general managers report, anything to add?
Well, I was just informed that, this is something I wanted to kind of bring to light with San Bernardino Operations of Emergency Services and their prompt duty to kind of stage this community center as their staging area for assistance. So I was just informed that we have a representative online, and I wanted to give them an opportunity to kind of address the board or inform the board. They've done a lot. They were for the community, not only just providing services with sandbags, water, equipment, ER, what is that? The military pouches. MREs. There was cheesecake, I don't know, carrot cake. There was a lot of different puddings.
Taco meat. And a couple cracker things and a carrot cake thing they were able to give out.
They have solar battery devices. They had all departments from San Bernardino here, as well as helping us in recouping some of the costs that was endured during this whole storm. They were immediately on us via email, through calls, on obtaining the costs for this damage. And that's like, it was quick, like it's unheard of. Usually we're kind of waiting and reaching out. They reached out to us. I can't say, I mean, I've never seen it happen this way, and they were just on top of it. They were involved in the community, and we've heard a lot of good things about their presence here in the community. So they were here from Sunday, that weekend after Christmas, through the Monday after New Year's, which was January 3rd, I believe, so, or just past that. They were here, and it was amazing to see how organized the whole process was. President was here and witnessed that. So was our vice president here, that I was able to see the two of you out here watching how this is done. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, and vice president, I want to say something else too, and it wasn't mentioned. The water that was delivered to the district was also shipped over to Mills Hardware to help distribute the water. We had pellets and pellets that were delivered there. And there were two locations that the community had options to obtain that. We shut down at 5 o'clock. San Bernardino OES, they were out of here by 4, but they were able to continue obtaining water from Mills Hardware. So there was a lot going on here in the district. So I wanted to give them an opportunity to kind of speak to the board or share anything that I have not already shared with you.
We also have Alice with shirt with us as well.
Sir, oh yes, yeah, they had a presence here as well. So, if I could.
Yeah, hi. Good evening, everybody. My name is Suyan Carcedo. I'm with San Bernardino County Office of Emergency Services. Thank you so much, George, for that shout out. I think you covered everything, so thanks for that.
Sorry.
I also agree with the comment that the gentleman made earlier about us cleaning out SoCal's water supply. We went through so many pallets of water, and I do want to share. Thank you so much for that, for just the recognition, because we have our emergency operations center we had activated before the storm in anticipation of what was to come. So we had our shifts, right? So we were running around the clock 24 hours, just kind of figuring out where the needs are as they arise. And we our logistics team does a really good job, as you all saw, in pre-staging equipment, whether it be partnering up with Department of Public Works. They were also at our emergency operations center to support the communities that were in need. Equipment that we were anticipating to be needed, material supplies, water, the MREs, which stands for Meals Ready to Eat. And I heard so many things about the carrot cake being gone, and the different crackers, those different flavors of the MREs. So we're so grateful that the community appreciated all of that, and that you were all there to see like how OES we do our best with everything that we have, and it's a team effort. I do want to share that some of the numbers that we actually got some data from the CRCs, the community-based care and reception centers that we supported. We were seeing an average of about 200 people per day, with the peak being at about 300 people in a day. And that's giving out pallets of water per day. Where our logistics team was replenishing it daily, if not a couple times a day. So that was good. That was really, it's great that the community was receiving all of the resources that we had to provide. And we had, so the location that we had at Phelan, the CRC, that's one of the 3 that we actually put up throughout the storms. As you all, I'm sure you all are aware, Wrightwood was heavily impacted, and so was Lido Creek. So in addition to supporting Phelan and Piñon Hills, we were supporting the others as well. And once we closed up the CRCs, we did open up a local assistance center in Hesperia this past weekend. And we had a lot of people there coming in from Phelan, Piñon Hills, they're just talking about how grateful they are for all the resources. If there are additional resources, we do have a bunch of needed from the community. We did partner up with our VOAD, which stands for Volunteer Organizations Active in Disasters, and they are supporting the residents who still are in need of muck outs. Muck-outs are helping getting the debris out of their home. And if you are interested in that, they're called crisis cleanup. I can send the information over if you don't already have it. But one of the other ways that we responded is that we did activate our CERT team, our local CERT team in Phelan Piñon Hills. So with that, I'll turn it over to Alice, and that way she can talk about how we activated her team to support our efforts and to support the community. So thank you everybody so much. Does anybody have any questions before I hand it over to Alice?
Nope, no questions.
Sorry,
Oh,
Ms.
go ahead.
Sardito, I'm going to message you if you wouldn't mind providing your email so I can get in contact with you.
Yes, of course. I'll put my email in the chat.
Thank you.
Hi, Ellis.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having us help out our community. Our CERT team was activated. We actually were, I was in communication with the Office of Emergency Services on the 23rd. I happen to live in that area that got hit the hardest by the water crisis. I'm 1 block over from where all the stuff happened on Rosado and Colorado, where they had all the problems. I'm over on Silver Rock and Olivera, so I was very much aware of, oh, we got little water. Oh, we got no water, and I'm letting OES know as we're going along. We actually, when my husband and I decided we could finally safely attempt in our 4-wheel drive to go mudding to see if we could get out, we shot photos and we're sending them to OES. We were activated to do windshield surveys. We sent probably in the neighborhood of 115 photos, all total, from various team members. 5 of my team members activated during this event. We also worked at the Care and Reception Center there at the community center. And I had a total of 5, like I said, 5 team members active. We did whatever we needed to do. We moved water to people's vehicles. We moved other things if they needed assistance there at the CRC. We talked with a lot of people. We gave a few hugs because that was needed. We gave direction where to park, where to come in, and helped just sort of make things flow a little better. We've since been deactivated, but we do have some things coming up, and I'd like to make the board aware. I'd like to get this information out to our community. On February 5th at 6:30 p.m. at the Phelan Community Center, we have a Narcan training being put on by Behavioral Health. They are going to come in, and they're doing it for my CERT team as a training, but it is open to the community. All I ask is that we know that they're coming. They can let us know on our Facebook page. They can let us know through an email to pphcert@gmail.com. Or if they know Bonnie or me, they can just tell us. And we will put together a list so we can let behavioral health know how many to expect so they can have the materials available for everyone to have handouts to take home. April 10th, 11th, and 12th, we have our CERT basic training coming up. And again, we'd like to invite the community. We really need more team members. My team, since COVID, has shrank immensely, in part because there's one thing we can't stop, and that's getting older. And a lot of my team members are getting older and less able to do. So we need to get more people trained. We will have that training on the 10th. That's a Friday. It's from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., I think is what I've got down. And then it'll be 8 to 4:30, 5 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday. We, a lot of times, are able to finish up a little bit early because we're able to do our hands-on exercises in an expedient manner, and that's good. So if there's any questions you all have for us, I'm the coordinator for the Phelan Piñon Hills CERT team. Let me know.
Thank you. Any questions?
Just a thank you. Thank you, Alice, for showing up and giving us this bit. And thank you so much for serving the community.
Thank you for having us and allowing us to serve the community. That makes a world of difference.
All right. All right, so we will move on to item 9, director's reports. Greg?
I have nothing to report.
Deborah?
Nothing to report other than big thank yous for all the team.
Gina?
Nothing to report.
Chuck?
Nothing to report.
No, and nothing to report from me, so we will move on to correspondence and information.
Yes, included in the packet were 3 flyers that went out in the bills. They are a new class that we're starting. It's going to be an 8-week class, or, well, there's 3 of them, 3 8-week classes. They are already full, so there's a lot of interest.
Nice.
And so that's just provided for your information.
Perfect. All right, moving on to review of action items. Were there any prior meeting action items?
The only prior meeting action I have is bringing back the committee calendar.
Okay. And current meeting action items?
I'll just be bringing back those resolutions with the amendments as part of consent.
Got it.
Yes, Madam
And-
President, I have a
Oh,
request.
yeah.
Maybe at a future time, we can put on the agenda the general manager's evaluation, our personnel rules and policies that we're still working on, and then maybe an overview of EOC operations here for the district.
Got it? Okay, thank you. And setting a meeting for, setting agenda for next meeting on January 28th. Does anybody have anything that they would like to add? Good. All right, so with no further business, we will adjourn at 6:26 PM. Thank you.